What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Survivor Now podcast. My name is Randy, and today we are being joined by the second castaway, very unfortunately eliminated from Survivor UK, Sabrina Pace-Humphreys. But I was going to ask, you have your name as Sabs. Am I allowed to call you Sabs? It's a friend thing, so I have to ask.
Look, if you're a friend of Survivor, you're a friend of mine. So call me Sabs.
Oh my gosh, that's like a perfect way to say it. That's amazing. How are you doing today?
You know what? It's been a busy old day after it going live last night on television here in the UK, but I am loving life. I am feeling good, and I'm just so happy to be speaking to you.
I was going to say, I mean, I know it can sometimes be easier to watch it play back months later down the line, but you still have that beautiful smile on your face. Like, how? I mean, I feel like I would be devastated. I'd be at home and on my couch, like eating some ice cream. Like, oh, I can't believe but you look amazing today. And it's great seeing that smile still.
You're so sweet. Thank you. You know, I'm an old bird. I've been around the block and I've had to deal with a lot of shizzle in my life. And you know what? I am just so bloody grateful for the experience of it. I really am. So what's not to smile about? It's the afternoon here in the UK. I'm speaking to you.
The pleasure is all mine. I thought for a second you were going to say, I'm just so bloody tired of all the shizzle. And I was like, yes, put that on a t-shirt. So, all right. So we got to get into the Survivor side of things while I have you here. I know everyone's excited to hear about how the elimination went down. I want to start on a more positive note. This is a question that I really like to ask everyone. How did it feel just being on the boat, looking across the way, seeing Joel and realizing, oh my gosh, I have to jump in the water in like 2 seconds?
It was the most mind-blowing thing that I have ever experienced in my life. Like seeing him come around on that speedboat, I felt as if I was in like a James Bond film and I didn't know if I was the hero or the villain. So it was just the most immense experience. You see it on the television and you're like, wow, I wonder how they feel. And it is all the feels, the adrenaline, the fear, the excitement. You're looking around at the different people who you don't know who's on your tribe, and you're like, am I going to be with them? They look like a good swimmer because we're swimming over to that beach. So it was kind of like Christmas Eve, but I was scared about what was coming in those Christmas presents.
I know you were looking at the people engaging like, oh, they look cool. Maybe steer clear of them. You also had to be looking at the supplies because this is when you guys went for the supplies. So where was your mindset? What was the first thing you were grabbing in this kind of wild goose chase on this boat?
Well, you saw me lob that piece of bamboo over the side. I knew that we needed to get off the ground because we were going to get bitten to crikey on that beach. So I was like, right, I need that bamboo. I need to be hurling it over to that raft. Next, I need food. And you saw me looking for it, like potatoes, onions, stuff that's not going to go mushy.
Like bananas go bad fast. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Everyone always goes for the bananas. I'm like, that's going to last you like an hour.
And that's the thing, like you see the footage of Hannah and I like grabbing this massive bunch of bananas, and like when my husband watched it, he was like, why? And I'm like, we were just looking for the biggest thing to throw. And he was like, you're crazy. And I was like,
this is edible.
They didn't even last. When we got over to the beach, they were like all mushed and horrible. I was like, thank God we've got onions and potatoes if we win this challenge.
Well, let's talk about that because you guys were way, way behind. I've been told the cameras didn't do it justice at how far back. I didn't know if it was you guys were getting more supplies or the rowing team didn't get going, but you guys did come back. So first off, before I get to what ended up happening, you guys winning, walk us through what happened at the beginning because you guys were so far back.
I know we were so far back. I think I've never swum in the sea pulling a really heavy raft before. I think we were in the wrong current. We were, you didn't hear it, but Lee was kind of at the front. He was shouting 1, 2, 3, push, and it felt like no matter how much we kicked, I was on my back because I'm better at backstroke. I was kicking. We weren't getting anywhere, and I just kept looking over at Calaton and thinking, they're just getting further away.
They're in the lazy river or something. They're just coasting.
That is exactly what it was like. It was like they're on a different stream in the sea. We could not catch them. It was so devastating as the first challenge. I was like, oh my God, we're just too far back.
But you came back to win, and then you find out the huge twist. Not only do you get all of your supplies, the massive supplies that you burnt down with the fire, but you also get Calaton's supplies, as well. So walk me through that reaction, because I mean, like, you had to know you were walking straight into Survivor Paradise right away with all this supplies.
Oh my God. You saw what I did when Joel said, like, you get Calaton supplies as well. I was so ungracious, wasn't I? I apologize. Like, I cannot hold these levels of excitement. So when I found out that not only do we get our own,
you made sure they knew.
And I felt after it, honestly, you didn't see it in the show. I felt so bad because I had acted so ungraciously. But I knew that fire, that food, that shelter, like, we had such a great setup to start. I was like, this is the dream start to Survivor as a tribe. Yeah.
Well, how nice was the Lenina camp? If I said, am I saying the tribe name right? Lenina, right?
Yeah, Lenina.
Yeah, Lenina.
The Lenina camp was, I mean, we worked hard. That when we got back, we were like, right, Peg and I, as you saw, we were like, fire. We need fire. I was absolutely focused. I wanted to be the first woman on this new series to make fire. So Peg and I were like, fire. Peg is, he's a great cook. And then the rest of them were kind of using the bamboo to get us off the ground on the first night. We knew it wasn't going to be like the Chateau Marmont or whatever. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so. Don't ask me.
But we knew that we needed to get off the ground. So we split we're doing the fire. We'll get the food on. You guys, are going to go and get the wood, get more wood. So we kind of just knew that we would have fading light and we needed to get off the ground because we didn't want to sleep on the floor. Our survival training had told us get off the floor. So to be there and to be having the tools, like we won the saw as well when the box dropped. So we just had everything that we needed. So yeah, Lenina was a beautiful 5-star resort for Lenina.
Living in luxury on Survivor. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. And that contributed to the challenges when you guys were winning. I mean, Calaton were really down. I do have to point out, we talked a little about how excited you got at the beginning, how you let them know trash talk was something throughout that we saw from you guys. And I was like, oh my gosh, are they going to end up losing eventually? Because it's going to come back to bite them.
It does.
Walk me through that, especially the first immunity challenge. We saw Calaton at times be like, man, they will not shut up about it. And you guys are like just pouring on the trash talk, just a little gamesmanship. Is that what it came down to?
You know what it was? It was, the thing is, it's heartbreaking. Okay. It was heartbreaking as I'm a mummy and I'm a granny, and to know that you've got 9 people who have no fire, they have rice and beans, they have no tools to, like, it's hard. That nurturing side of me, like, wanted just to say, here, have our saw, have this. I wanted to share it, but that's not the game, is it? The game is your tribe has to be strong, and we just knew that trash talk was like a part of it, and they were giving it too, and we were kind of giving it back, and it is part of the game. But it's a difficult tightrope to tiptoe, because you kind of I wanted to be like, oh, please just have this, have a potato, or here, we've bought some boiled potatoes, but you can't, because that's not the game. So you've kind of got to try and use what you have to wear them down, and that's part of the trash talking of it.
I loved every second of it. In terms of entertainment purposes, I mean, I wasn't being trash talk. I was having a good time. Let's get to the second immunity challenge, where we saw you and Rach really struggle in the water with those knots. I feel for you, because I always feel if I go on Survivor, one of those knots are going to get me because
Oh,
I'm just so bad at untying stuff. I mean, you talk about my headphones when they're in my pocket for 2 minutes. It takes me an hour to get them untied. But what was going on? Walk me through that
oh,
moment and when you decided I'm heading back. It's just not going to happen.
you know, I wanted, because I hadn't had a chance to go in the I forget what they call the challenge where you're sliding down, and you know, and so I
Yes.
didn't get my chance because we'd won the challenge before. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't a kind of 3-all thing. And I
Yes.
was like, I want to play a part. I want to play a part in this challenge. And you know, we had, you know, Ren was great. They had experience of like rafting, and I was like, okay, you do the raft, Ren, like, you know what to do. So they took the lead on that. And I was like, okay, I'll be a swimmer. I'll be a swimmer. And I knew that I couldn't hold my breath for long, but I thought even if we do it a knot at a time. And then Rachel kind of, you know, Rachel, yeah, as I say in the series, you know, had said that she, you know, she was a trained vocalist, and so therefore breath work is a massive part of that. And I thought, well, even if we can do like 2 and 1 together, we can work. I swear that last knot, it was just like, it was so tight, and no matter what I did, and I was just like, you know what? How much time am I going to waste? Like, I've got to go back. Like, and I shouted out, I can't do it. It's too tight. Come back, like, just swim back. And part of me is like, you know what? I should have called it quicker. Even if I would have called it 30 seconds quicker, maybe it would have been, because we, as you saw, we caught up, you know, we were there. But you know what? Hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? Hindsight's a great thing.
I literally just said in the last interview, it's tough to play the what ifs, who's
Yeah.
it's, and all that. It's tough to play that game. But I mean, you had an excellent point when you were talking about, and we're going to get to the elimination stuff here in a minute. But you had a great point. Like, Rach stayed out there continuing to try, which she has a point too. Like, I gave it my all, not saying you didn't, but there's
No.
two sides of the coin. It's like, do you
Yeah.
continue to stay out there when it's just not happening,
Yeah.
continue to waste time, or do
Yeah.
you head back and give someone else, this is the
Yeah.
best chance we got? And honestly, I can't remember who you swapped out for. Was
I
it
swapped out
Pegleg?
for Christopher. I swapped out
And
for
then,
Christopher.
okay, and for Christopher, and then I believe Pegleg went when Rachel
No,
came
and
back.
then it was Doug. Then Doug went
That
when, yeah,
Okay, that's right. Yes. And
yeah,
those are the two who ended up untying the knots and
yeah.
getting you guys in the game. So, like, ultimately, if you look at it, and I know this is your interview and not like a recap episode, but like, if you look at it, it's honestly the right decision. Going back to tribe, or to your tribe beach before tribal council, we saw throughout the episode, Rach was targeting you. Your name kept coming up in her confessionals. Was this ever brought up at camp? Was it, or were
No,
you ever aware that Rach was targeting you?
no, you know, and this is the thing, isn't it? It's 60 minutes of television. There, I love that woman. I felt really protective of her, and of course, you don't see any of that in the episode because it doesn't fit the narrative. The bond that we had, the fact that on the first night, it was Rachel in the middle with her big muscles, and I was cuddling in one side, Ash the other, and you know, I had so much love for her, and I at no point did you know, it was a reason, it was a tactic, but absolutely not. At no point did anyone pull me aside and say, Sabs, can you just a little, we just kind of, and yeah, it's what they had. But what I would say, and I really want to say this, is that, you know, you don't see it all in that 60 minutes. And I'm not here to, I'm a lover, not a fighter. You know,
I respect that so
you
much.
know,
I feel that. Yeah.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. And you know, it's entertaining to see that narrative. But I think that, you know, as fans of Survivor and that know the game, you need to look a little bit more into that episode to really understand who might be pulling strings. All right, that's all I'm saying. And yeah,
I was just gonna say, adding on to that, I always like to say the casual fans are the ones who take the 60 minutes, whatever they see, that's what happens. And the super fans are the ones you have to look past the edit because you're not gonna see everything.
You're not. And I mean, I see it now because I was in there and I know what went down. And that's what I'm saying. That's what it's really important for me to say that, because I'm a mum, and I care about people, and I care about their mental health, and I love Rachel. Like, Rachel is the most beautiful woman, and but you know what? She found me annoying and she didn't feel as though she could tell me, and then it's an excuse to keep herself in the game. Boom, she played it, baby.
She did. She did. And another person that we did see when talking about what we saw in the edit, and someone who had a big part to play in this, Doug. We saw him playing the middle. That was very entertaining to watch. I know you were confident because you literally said, we got this person, we got this person, we got this person. Going into tribal council, this was a really, really close vote. How confident were you that it was not going to be you?
You know, I wasn't confident that it wasn't going to be me, because I split that vote. I split the vote. We've got this majority, which I thought wholeheartedly Doug was in, which would mean
you were very convinced Doug was in.
I was that man, like, he played his ignorance as to what the hell was going on so well, like so well, because I was totally blindsided by that one. Totally blindsided. He played his, the man deserves whatever is coming to him, because I totally, when I found that out, that he had flipped, that he had been straddling both sides all along, I was like, oh my God, I need to rethink everything I know about the human race, because I thought he was locked in, and boy played the game well. Boy played it so well.
Ooh,
and that meant I went home.
We were so devastated to see you go home, because you were just a positive energy in general. It's never fun to get your torch snuffed, but I will say this is always an amazing experience to leave with a family that you're going to have forever, your Survivor UK family. I love asking this question. I ask it every single podcast, and I always love the answers I hear. What are you going to take away from this experience? Even though it didn't last as long as you'd like, what are you going to take away as a whole? Because I know your family, your girls are super proud of you.
I think what I take away from this, and it's something that you see me say in my going in trailer, and it's something that I say again in Tribal, and I'm really glad that they kept it in. There's a lot that I'll do to win, but I will never compromise my integrity. I will never be a person that I wouldn't want to be by my side. Like, I will never cheat. I will never not be me. And you know what? I wrote down before I went in this book, that all the things not to do in order to get further. And all of those things were to basically not be me. And from the moment I got on that ship, I couldn't not be me. So I just think I take away from it this real confidence that, you know what, I'm the woman that I am, and I make no apologies for it. I'm a lover. I'm your biggest hype woman. And you know what? If you love me, come on that journey with me. And if you don't, then you don't. And there's plenty of other choices you'll see in Survivor.
Wear that with pride, Sabs. Wear that with pride. And then the last question is, would you play again? Because Survivor UK just starting up. Hopefully this keeps going on for forever, and we have returning seasons. So would you go back out there and play again?
I'm going to let you in on something that I haven't admitted to anyone. Never say never. Okay?
I just can't say anything else. That's how we end it. Sabs, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me. You're such an amazing person. The pleasure has been mine, and I hope we get to speak again one day.
I do too. Thanks so much.
Have a good day.